Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today for our very first podcast. Today we are going to chat to Sid Baveja, our new Managing Director of Consumer.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
And going to talk about your plans for the consumer side of our platform and hear a little bit about your kind of early thoughts on Checkatrade and your plans for us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's really nice to be here. I've been in marketplaces for nearly a decade and a half, so it's a long time. And Checkatrade has been the first time that I've come across a category, which in our case we call the home services category, right? Like this is where we've been, where there is a confluence of an incredibly strong brand and a huge base of tradespeople. So in a typical marketplace speak, you might say there's sellers who are selling their services, but not really a consolidated platform for consumers besides a website where they can do more than just connect with the seller, in this case the tradesperson. And so the opportunity that I see here is just incredibly huge. And I think we have a really good opportunity. I think the timing is very good for it. We're going through a very large change in our ambition. We are looking to become not just this directory platform, but a trusted partner for tradespeople and the trusted platform for consumers. And if you look at what's the one thing that binds the consumer, or what we used to call homeowners and tradespeople, and why they stick to the Checkatrade platform, it's trust, right? That's the fundamental foundation of this business. Is you have quality and trust that come together. I think we have a huge opportunity to do that now in a more concerted effort for the consumer as well. Beyond just having a simple website, I think now we can really be more sophisticated.
What can our consumers expect from Checkatrade in the coming year?
That's a really good question. So the first thing that you want to make available to a consumer is an experience in the mobile world. Already, more than 3/4 of our traffic to the Checkatrade platform from consumers comes on mobile web. It means people have opened up a browser on their phone and they're looking for stuff on Checkatrade. We want to actually go into a native mobile app format. We want to build an app that basically makes it really easy and convenient, and then still underpinned by that trust factor, which brings the consumer to Checkatrade in an app format. And the benefit of that is that consumers can then hopefully do more jobs that they've been putting off. And so many times, I talk to a lot of your friends. We talk to a lot of our customers. They say, I've been putting off stuff because it's just a fact. It takes too much time. It's a lot of effort. We want to make that super easy. We want to make it really convenient. Right? We already know we have trusted tradespeople who are willing to do a great job. On the consumer side, let's make it even easier for them to go book a job, to pay for a job.
When can consumers expect to start seeing the app coming out?
At the moment, we are still working on a few experiments to inform us what are the big things that consumers want to use to make their life easier, to build that convenience. And hopefully by the middle of this year, we'll be able to roll out something more broadly. And again, with app developments, as it goes, typically it's an ongoing journey. You're always going to keep updating it, always keep improving it. And so a lot of the effort that I'm spending today with our teams is how do we learn in the most insightful way the nature of the problem that consumers have, so we can present a solution in our app. So just like consumers want their life to become easier, trades want their life to become easier as well. One of the common complaints we hear from tradespeople is, how do I actually get a hold of the homeowner, the consumer, and have a meaningful conversation with them so I can better understand the job I have to do, I can better understand the budget for the job, I can better understand what tools and materials I need to bring to complete the job. All those things today happen in a very fragmented and disconnected way. And actually, what we want to do is bring them onto the Checkatrade platform and make it easier to have that two-way conversation between a homeowner and a tradesperson who's going to do the job. Where marketplaces tend to succeed is when they make the best match between the two parties. And so we're just focused on how do we make that match the easiest, most convenient match possible. It unlocks more for both the consumers and trades. Tradespeople want to have better quality jobs that they can get paid well for. Consumers want to make it really easy so they can get the job done in their home. All those, the confluence of that happens on our platform. That's how we see it.
So what about Sid before you came to Checkatrade? So talk a little bit about your career to date.
One thing I've seen happen very successfully in marketplaces, and I've been in places like Just Eat. I was a in a senior leadership position there. I was also before that at Viagogo. Tried building my own as well for a couple of years, also a two-sided marketplace. The reason why people come and transact in the marketplace, both the sellers, in this case our tradespeople, and buyers and consumers, is they come there for the sake of trust.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one fundamental thing we should never forget. The reason why Checkatrade exists, the reason why Checkatrade has been this successful for so long, is that it's done a fantastic job of building trust on both sides. And that's the fundamental reason why our brand is as loved as it is today.
And that's actually our sort of redefined mission, is to be the trusted foundation
Exactly
of every
right.
home.
Yes.
Safe and happy home
Yes.
matters. So
Yes.
that's encapsulated everything that we
Absolutely right. Look at how emotional homes are for people, and that's where we spend, most of our time outside of work. You have to make that a safe, viable, and happy place to be in. The only way you would engage in that through a platform is if that platform gives you trust.
What was it about Checkatrade specifically that sort of made you choose us, really?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons, but if I had to boil it down to a few, the first thing was the team that I met here. They say that people and culture eat strategy for breakfast. I don't know if that quote rings a bell. I've heard that many times, but basically the people and culture here was incredibly magnetic. The willingness and the earnestness to actually do good for tradespeople and consumers was unparalleled. What I find is people wake up here thinking about how do I do good for the customer and not what do I do for myself.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really powerful thing. And I observed that very, very widely across the company. I thought, wow, this is a fantastic team. And as you know, there's also been a wave of new talent that's come in, right? And you're at the forefront of that in our talent acquisition effort, where we've got incredible leaders like Jambu and Mathieu and all the other folks that have joined us recently. There's a new wave of energy, and I thought that was incredibly magnetic as well. So the first thing is people. The second thing is the industry that we're in. It's the kind of industry that you can genuinely relate to as an individual, as a person. Homes are everything. That's where we nurture our lives. We build our families. That's where we get shelter and protection. And there can be nothing more meaningful than helping people improve their homes. I feel like that was such a deep mission, and I thought it's very difficult to find companies with that level of product market fit and the kind of mission that is resonant with so many people.
And I suppose as well, we sort of give potential candidates looking to join us best of both worlds. So if you think about it, we already have a household name. We are a very profitable business, yet we've got additional investment. But we are still sort of agile and scaling up. So less risk than maybe in a startup environment.
That's a very good point.
And more flexibility than maybe in a bigger established business. So
That's a very good point. I think that must be emphasized, how much this is how unique this opportunity is, because you're right. You typically will find more profitable businesses that are as well known as Checkatrade to be a bit more slow moving, and that's definitely not the case.
No,
we're
definitely
incredibly fast moving, right? Like we have pace as a part of the DNA, like such a core part of the DNA. And that attracts a very specific type of person who has strong ambition, is really passionate to have an impact. And this is the kind of place you can do that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining all your thoughts, and we look forward to seeing the app coming out later on this year.
Thanks for all the support. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Thank you very much for joining us today, Sid.
Thank you.
Hope you all enjoyed it. This is our first one of many podcasts to follow, so please stay tuned. Please hit the subscribe button below. Right, Sid?
Yeah, subscribe to the button below.
Subscribe.